Well, real estate has bad investments. I had one in Florida on Jackson Street. We wound up going to court, legal bills. The seller was from California. He's a real snake, piece of shit. No other words of saying these words, but people understand what's going on. And now you understand where I'm at with it, right? Those deals like that, I think I lost $250, close to $300,000 on it. She didn't provide all the financing. And the state of Florida has a different way of looking at things, not the state of New York. The laws are different. So every state has a different, you can have Tommy's here, Jose's here, Julio's here, whoever it is, and that's the rent. And that's the piece of paper and they sign the bottom, that's verifying it. Not in New York City. New York City is, give me the copy of the rent checks, make sure what they're in, give me the rent, give me the leases. There's a lot more involved with it. Certain states are different, right? And it becomes a battle of fighting. There was back at the time, I think it was the second recession that was going on. I had I would say about four to five buildings, something like that in Red Hook, that were just not finished. Because you don't think that the well will run dry. This is a mentality, like right now, a lot of people think the same way right now. The well's not going to run dry, don't worry about it. That so-called recession is going to come, but it's not coming towards me. That's bullshit. You better stop and listen to real good. It's coming, it's going to come. It might not hit certain people because I'm already used to it and I have the experience that I've been through it already several times. But back then, I promised myself to never get into that position again. I had, I think, 3, 4 on Pioneer Street, vacant, undeveloped, construction some of the construction didn't even start. And to rehab and renovate. And I was in a hole. I was in a hole bad. Because every month would come by, and those are mortgages I have to pay. Even some of the private mortgages, I had to pay them. And bank mortgages. And at that time, construction stopped. Remember, I was in construction first. Construction is what made me my money. Construction, from construction, real estate. I would buy, real estate. And my men, we would finish up the job. Let's say it's a Tuesday or Wednesday, that job got finished. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, stick them in my building. Continue doing the renovation. You would pace myself through that renovation. Never, ever would I send myself and roll that type of dice. That was a really bad roll. But I was able to, it was a lot of mental thinking of how to now, instead of being spread out, what I did for the strategy on that was, there was still a few jobs going on, and what I did was stood into one. Finished that one apartment, finished it. Don't just concentrate on nothing, get that apartment, rent it out. You gotta remember, back then the rents was $700, $800 a month. It's not a lot, but back then that was good to rent. So what was this is I stabilized the buildings. Got that apartment going, then I got the next apartment, which is, I did the top floors first. Because then all the construction kept on going that way. You could move in and yeah, go through that, but then at the top you're upstairs and it's easier. And then I kept on going down and down. Once I did the 3 apartments and they were rented already, I rented a bank and remortgaged it. And that started kicking in. And then I went to the next one. And then I was doing jobs outside. But if you're not ready for a lot of that stuff, you have to be very careful. Very careful to that, because your well will run dry and now you're borrowing from your family. And you're borrowing from your friends because the bank ain't lending you no more money. And banks are gonna get really hard to lend money to people. So the zoo takes a lot of money. It's not gonna be positive for a while. We're starting to do tours, we're starting to set up, but there's stages of the zoo, you know what I mean? It's a different business. And you're gonna lose money. It's an investment in there. You gotta pay salaries. There's 4 or 5 employees already. 5 employees easy, 6 with the ground guy. So they're working every day. I got into it not to make money off the back. It'll bring me money afterwards, but there's a lot of deals there. There's a lot of things that go on, and a zoo's not for everybody. It's totally, you gotta tip your hat. It's a whole freaking different world.
Well, you told me there's only certain parts of Florida that you can do that in.
Yeah, it's very, very little parts. Yeah, this is a 20-acre estate. Let's put it this way, the Staten Island Zoo is 7 acres. I have 20. I have a horse ranch in it, you know what I mean? With all the horses and stuff that I got into that business. I actually got into the horse business. 2 years later, got out of it. Didn't sell it, I rented out that section. that area, and I just got out. I couldn't handle it, right? It was just, I thought of it, I was getting into it because I love animals and it's real estate, right? And I was renting out the stalls for like $1,200, $1,300 a month. But you're dealing with people and animals. And the people that you're dealing with is like overreaction, you know, with each other. It was actually a novella, a soap opera, a Spanish soap opera. And I'm like, okay, I'm not into this. I'm not into this. I got rid of it, but I rented it out to one person, so that was a blessing. And I have those people there for a couple of years. They're called dry stalls. And I just rented the whole place. Don't talk to me, I don't care if you got 1 horse or you got 15 horses. That's the rent. That's it.